and understanding the logistics of having a family business, not just like having a family business, but like running and operating and doing all the logistics there. Very eye-opening. If you were to ask me last year, hey Lydia, you guys still have DuCom in September 2025? I really would have probably said.
To work on silencing male voices, because you give one of them a mic and here they go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off the Dome podcast. I am Aman, and we have Bobby with me. Don't put it on the camera because our guest is actually sitting next to Bobby today. We have the one and only Lydia.
Oh, well, there's plenty of other Lydias, but yes.
Well, you're the one and only. The one that we have here.
Thank you.
Special guest, special episode, guys.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You know, we had to kind of band together, crowd raise to get her on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Her payment to come here was like, what, 50 bands?
You know what I'm saying? Price went up.
We had to go in debt. Forget everything we said last episode. We went in debt.
But some investments are worth it.
So
you know
you guys are liars. Essentially, that's what I'm getting. So don't listen to them guys.
No, it was not particular. We're so glad. Thank you so much for making the time. We know you are very busy.
How are you, Lydia? How are you?
Doing a lot of things.
I'll give you guys a number. So I would say out of 10, I'm like at like a 8.2.
Ooh, B.
Right now.
We're passing.
You guys have been filling me up. This was been a long week, but like this was one of the highlights that I was really looking forward to. So like I just know once we're done with this, I'm gonna be at like a 9.9.
Prime your
Maybe 10 out of 10 if y'all. You guys ruined it because of you said I had to pay you.
Bobby, come on, man.
Usually leading up to an episode, we have the guests come over after we're done setting up, and then they kind of just wait while we're getting ready. Lydia, it's like we were having a podcast before the podcast.
Yeah.
She was literally so easy to talk to. We were just chatting about so many different topics that I'm like, dang, I wish we recorded it. But regardless, it doesn't have to be recorded. But I just want to give you your flowers. You're an amazing communicator, an amazing, genuine person. And I can't wait for this episode to happen. They can see you as well, the story of Lydia.
Oh, I'm blessed to be here. You guys are so kind. Thank you.
So, for all people who don't know you, I'm sure there's not that many people out there right now because you're pretty popular in the social media space. Who is Lydia? Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about, upbringing, things you'd like to get into. And just for our audience who might not know you, give us a bit of a rundown of who you are.
Yes. So my name's Lydia Tefera. I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I live in the DMV. I was born and raised in Montgomery County, specifically in Maryland. And yeah, I do a lot. I'm in terms of just like I work full time. My family, we own a restaurant and lounge in Washington, D.C. So when I'm not working there, or when I'm not doing like my 9 to 5 work, I'm working there. And I mean, gosh, what a loaded question. Who am I?
I feel so bad. You have to like reword it because like every time I feel like it's such a loaded question to ask somebody like, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
I guess maybe more importantly, like
I think like let's start with like upbringing.
Yeah.
Right. So don't give us your like address, but like just where were you born? How was it like growing up? We do know a little bit about, we're not gonna get into it, I know your family history. Your family has done a lot in the Ethiopian community around this area. But before we get there, like how was your upbringing like?
So I grew up as the younger sister. I don't know what ranking do you guys fall in with your siblings? Youngest?
The forgotten middle child. You know what I'm saying? But we thrive.
I sometimes joke and say I'm the middle child because of the family business. Like that's like the baby and I'm but anyways, so I grew up as the younger sister. It's just me and my sister were 8 years apart, even though now I've gotten to the age of with her where people think I'm the older sister. So I'm like, dang, I must be a little busted, but it's fine. And yeah, grew up very blessed, normal childhood. I was super active. I did dance my whole life in a dance studio. I did that. I got to explore my interests and do all of these fun things as a kid. I would say, it was just like me, my sister, my mom, my dad, and my uncle. Because my uncle, who's like essentially like a second father figure to me, that was like my childhood and my upbringing as much as I can recall it. But I was a happy child. I was a little bubbly girl. I will say this. This is something I always toot my own horn about. But so I moved elementary schools when I was after 3rd grade. I moved to another elementary school, and I was realizing later in life where I don't remember the feeling of being a new kid. I feel like I just like jumped in and adapted to like the new environment. I didn't even feel like, I mean, granted, I missed my friends at my old school, but I just like, this is a great opportunity for me to meet and make more friends, and I'm friends with them till this day, 20 plus years later.
Wow. And that tracks because I've kind of felt like I've known you for a long time.
We're cousins. Digital cousins to real cousins. I'm sure as the episode goes by, you guys are gonna recognize that she's really relatable. She's really like, I feel like you can kind of like penetrate the camera and like get into people's like they're gonna feel like you're personable. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Yeah. But before we get into anything deep about you, I think kind of to set the stage like an icebreaker, we kind of do like warm-up games. For this one, our producer graciously gave us an idea of doing 2 truths, 1 lie.
Okay.
So I guess he's gonna go down each person, 2 truths, 1 lie. We have to decide who's lying, and I guess there's no really winner here, but
we just want to see how good we are at reading each other.
You want to start us off, man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. I want to say I have ate a cactus.
Ate a cactus, okay.
Ate a cactus, right? I have been to Alaska. Okay. And the third one is I've met like Peyton Manning.
You can Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning. I don't know if you know football.
Player.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Dang, that's actually pretty good solid list.
Yeah.
I don't think you've been to Alaska.
Oh, she clocked it.
it. I was gonna say.
But I am going to be going to Alaska. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by Alaska.
You know, it's the largest state.
I did that recently, actually. Here you go. You know, my parents, my dad has like this like fascination of just watching these like, you know, it's Habesha dad videos of just like top 10 biggest country, like, and then it's like it showed the states compared to Europe country sizes. Number 1 was Alaska.
Oh, that's wild.
And I want to know, and we're gonna talk about this because we're gonna get to a restaurant, but there is an Ethiopian restaurant in Alaska.
Get out.
I swear there is.
We made our way there.
And I am so fascinated. I don't know anything about Alaska, but I want to go have injera in Alaska. And I want to know how, you know.
I think and no matter where, you could probably throw like a dart at the planet Earth. There's going to be Habesha somewhere.
As there should be.
Our people are everywhere. That's a great sign, but that's a good idea.
Okay,
Let us know. I expect a vlog.
Oh, 1,000%. A whole adventure.
Alaska vlog.
Alaska vlog, that would be fun.
Finding the first Ethiopian.
I love it.
I'm an alien there. I don't know. All right.
So my turn. 2 truths, 1 lie. So first is I had a pet bee. I have been to Hong Kong.
Oh.
And I'm trying to remember what I've told you guys before we started filming, so I don't try to wrap myself out. And I've been to Europe.
Ooh.
The thing about challenging what you did, I want to say the bee, but that sounds too specific that you wouldn't lie about that.
You never watched the bee movie?
I mean, because first you have to capture a bee, then you have to make it a pet. I don't know how that would work.
No, it's possible. You never seen the video of the guy walking a bee? That's possible.
Cats, I've seen that. I want to say Europe.
Europe is the lie?
Hold up.
Like she never been to Europe, so she's been to Europe?
Hong Kong and Europe. I would say Hong Kong, actually. Never been to Hong Kong.
Okay.
I think she's been to Hong Kong.
More than Europe?
Yeah.
I think Europe, she would go to Europe more than she would go
Hong Kong is also very specific. Like, if you want to go to you don't just stumble upon Hong Kong. You know what I'm saying? You have to go to Hong Kong.
So you're saying I'm not an intentional
No. I'm saying you are intentional. Like, I think you went to Hong Kong is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Europe, and I say she didn't go to Hong Kong.
Okay, guys, I have a confession.
Oh.
What's the bee?
Was it all true?
2 lies.
Oh.
Yeah, I just want to
Wait, you had a pet bee?
So what was the second lie?
So,
one of the lies was Europe. I have not been to Europe.
So I
have not been to Europe, and I said I've been to Europe, so that was a lie.
Okay.
I'm still staying on the Hong Kong. Ain't no way you domesticated a bee.
Okay, I want it to be that you had a pet bee, so I'm gonna say you haven't been to Europe. Oh, you haven't been to Hong Kong, because I hope you had a pet bee, and I want it.
So I switched it. I did 2 lies and 1 truth. The truth was Hong Kong.
So you did have.
You had a pet bee.
No,
you didn't have pet bee.
Yes, I did not.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I was like, yeah, in a way.
That was a good.
Interesting though.
A pet bee would actually be really cute and sweet. I'm just terrified of them, so I would
Okay.
never. I could
Bee
never.
is crazy.
Yeah, no.
That was good though. When you the way you said it so like effortlessly, like, oh, this is possible. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh,
I might just give 3 lies. You don't know.
Oh, do it. Do it.
When I was a kid, all right. I just
Sorry.
When I was a kid, I lost all my teeth. Right.
Okay. Well, technically, we did lose all our teeth when we were kids.
No, but like,
sorry, I'm just thinking.
It was like an actual moment of like
knockout.
Not even you can know. I just lost all my teeth. One,
yeah, I was fishing.
I went skydiving before, and then I got bitten by a dog.
Whoa, this is even hard for me.
I don't think you lost all of your teeth. All whatever double digits of them. No.
Okay, you say that?
I think that's the lie. I think if you did lose teeth, it was like maybe like your front 2 teeth if you got hit by a football or something.
I think I'll have to agree because I feel like skydiving. You went skydiving. I think I'm pretty sure, but I think if you were bitten by a dog, I would have noticed. Knowing you, be fearful of dogs.
He's examining. Okay.
You know,
no, I do think he was bit. I think you.
I think he was bit by a dog.
Like the usual Habsha story. Traumatic experience of getting bit by a dog.
No, I've never gotten bit. I have a dog. So.
Wow.
Oh, she's a dog mom, bro.
Yeah.
Dog mom.
Yeah, my phone background.
So I think you. So I think the lie is that you lost all your teeth.
The lie is I had 2 lies.
Okay, see,
Ooh.
fun.
Okay.
No, actually, no, I had 1 lie.
This guy.
Man, I was like,
I didn't get bit by a dog. You're right.
you did not.
Yeah, but I did lose my teeth when I was a kid. When I first came to America when I was 2, there was some type of like I had a gum issue,
Oh no.
and it kind of like wore out my gums.
Just
so
neck
it took
one by
a while.
one.
I think it was something related to I used to like maybe suck my thumb or something. I don't know. My mom used to tell me that. So I had no teeth, and I got surgery in like the Children's Hospital in DC.
No way.
And like I hadn't, but then it grew back obviously.
They look great. You have great teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Braces?
are they real?
Braces, yeah.
Braces?
Did you want real? Okay.
Period. Me too. But
Oh.
I did braces as a kid and then Invisalign
But I
as an
never got
adult.
bit. Never got bit by a dog. I've heard a lot of people getting bit by. You know, at this point, if you ask someone, realistic speaking, in our community, like Habashas, why they hate dogs, it's either they got chased by one in Ethiopia or they got bit by one.
Yeah.
I've seen the correlation is so crazy.
But I've learned to overcome that fear, and I actually now enjoy dogs. I feel like they're the most
love
loyal
dogs.
animals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm asking you a hard question. Like, I know you're a dog mom, right? So
Mhm.
what's your view of cats?
Oh, I don't mind cats. I think they're cute.
Okay.
You don't think they're
You're
evil?
better than me.
I don't think they're evil.
I moved from thinking that they're actually very nice.
They're hyper independent, but also can be affectionate when they want to.
Right?
Mhm.
I'm
Who's a
more
dog?
dog inclined.
I'm like cute, and I think cats are. I learned that they actually look down on us.
Look down.
That's why they actually like to sit higher above because they think we're
We're
their
less
pet.
than-
Yeah,
Oh,
and they
that's
feel
fine.
entitled.
Why did you end up going to Hong Kong though?
Huh?
What was the reason? I
Oh.
just thought about it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Long story, but family stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? How's Hong Kong?
Very nice
It was,
stuff,
oh my gosh, it feels like it was a blur, but lots of people, very, honestly, pretty great, like nice
Mm-hmm.
shopping. It all feels like a blur though. It was like, what, 2015, 16? So like over.
Oh, it was like 8 years.
No, I lied. Maybe even like 2013. I don't even
Wow.
remember.
Okay.
It was a long time ago, but it was a cool city. I would go back now as like an adult that can actually remember things properly.
Hey.
Yeah.
And now let's get to the point where now we can finally dive into, because I've been excited. I've been holding back the app. We can get into Lydia and a little bit more about you. And I think I kind of want to put a pin on like, obviously like your immediate life right now, but more so like what Iman mentioned in the beginning, the earlier days. How is it like in your household? Sibling dynamics, parent dynamics, school, earlier days?
Yeah.
How was Lydia?
Well, given that me and my sister have like a slightly larger age gap, I always joke and say like I was a younger sibling, but then I was also an only child in the sense that when I was going into like middle school, she was going off to college.
Oh, wow.
So there was a good chunk of time where it was just like me in the house and she would come home for like holidays and whatnot. So that in a way was kind of cool. I had like I had other family members and cousins that I grew up very closely with. I mean, being Habesha, like we have lots of cousins and lots of family members. Yeah. One in particular, shout out to Eden, we're 4 months apart. So she was basically like my sister growing up. Like we did everything. We would spend the weekends together. We did all the things growing up. So yeah, that's like my childhood in terms of just like sibling relationships, sibling dynamics. I now as an adult, me and my sister are like 2 peas in a pod. We're like more peers than like little sister, big sister, even though I still respect her because she's my elder. I'm kidding, no. But
what's the age difference, by the way?
8.
8? Wow.
8
me
years.
and my sister are 9.
9 years?
Yeah.
So how is that from like a brother-sister dynamic? That's what sister, I feel like is easier.
I think for me, I tell us a lot. Because me and my sister were 9 years, like exactly, like just I have the same exact thing.
Yeah.
My big sister, it's only us 2, by the way. So she became a parent, a big sister, a big brother, a dad, a mom, all in one. So she had all these different like titles. So it's like respecting her, but then like we're cool, we're having fun together. But it's like also like my parents would be at work, so she would be the one that's like disciplining me or like teaching me or taking me places.
Right.
So it was a really interesting dynamic with her. And then as soon as I got older, different things like learning to respect her, sometimes getting angry about how she treated me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like I understand it.
No.
So it's just like it's nice.
I can relate to that now that you mention it because my sister, because of the age gap, she definitely also was like another parent in the household, which I feel bad because she was also just a kid.
Right.
But because my parents were very busy working and doing all of that, so she definitely filled in that role. There were probably times where she had to like watch me or babysit me when she just wanted to be like at the mall or at the movies with her friends. But I definitely can relate to that for sure.
No, for sure. Like, Eman.
Yeah.
What about you?
Sorry. I was just really just enjoying you guys bonding over your upbringing and the dynamics. So I'm a middle child, so
what is that? Yeah, what is that?
I had someone, watching over me as I watch over somebody else. Sometimes I just wish I was out the way so you can just, I felt like I was just no. Older sisters, I love my older sister. She's very amazing. She went through so much just to protect us.
Yeah.
Because she's the only girl first. Oh. She's the oldest. And we were just the guys, we were careless and she was more thoughtful. You know what I'm saying? So she took on the responsibility, like I said, like being a mother to us. Even though she was not that much older than us, she had to grow up. Just so, especially, okay, I remember this, my sister, when we first came to America, like she was the most proficient in English.
Wow.
Right? And so we saw her at the age of like 12 doing like government paperwork and communicating with the officials, like just because it was just easier to communicate with her. And we went to the same school. I don't know how she was just that much ahead of us, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. And my little brother is also just amazing. And I honestly, I got the best of both worlds, you know what I'm saying? So I just had a little bit to play with. Also got, some stern talking to, from my sister. So yeah.
And I think it's more in this, like, it also helps in like growing up in the community we are, like in the DMV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everybody knows like a hotbed for like different, a lot of people here, a lot of people are Habesha culture. And it's a hotbed for either people like that came from the same experiences as us, cultural people in our aspect, even just other cultures as well, other people from diaspora from other countries. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's so interesting seeing other people's dynamics. It really doesn't change, right?
No.
Age, like the same dynamics you have in your culture with your siblings, it's kind of universal everywhere.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing about it.
But so you went to high school around this area.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get to, I guess, not more recent, but tell us about your career. Like, I know what you started off with college, and we will get to where you are now. But talk to us. Well, okay, should we talk about the restaurant first, or should we talk about which one how does your story align?
Okay, so I'll jump into like just to continue the school story or the childhood story. So growing up, I think a blessing in the fact that I was able to do so many things, whether it was in high school and college. Like I did dance, I did theater, I was able to try this and that. I did student government, all that stuff as a kid, right? So I got to flex a lot of different muscles. Right. But once I got to undergrad, I did political science and computer science with like the expectation, I'll say that very lightly, that, I would be a lawyer. I got to my senior year of college and I realized I think I had even taken the LSAT, and it was like, maybe I don't recommend this, or maybe I do. It was like maybe like 2 months, 3 months before graduation. I was like, I don't want to go to law school. I was like, I don't see myself waking up every day going and doing this, like doing this track. This is not what I want to do. So then I had to like really internally discern and pray on like, okay, what does the next chapter of my life look like? Because I can't just do nothing. Like my family did not just put all this time and resource to, you know, get to me to where I am for me to just not do anything at all. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get my master's. My undergrad program, my undergrad school had a grad program in like digital marketing, emerging media. And I was like, okay, I'll get my master's. Like that will sound good. At least I could say I got my master's, and it's in something that I actually enjoy. So I won't like fully disappoint my mom and dad, even though they were probably just like, what is she doing? Because all they want is for you to be comfortable, and they only know what they know. But then, so yeah, I did that. And then right after I finished, it was a 1-year program. I finished that and then applied and got a job at the company I work for now. And I do marketing strategy full time.
Did you, and when you said like, you after the LSAT, you kind of realized that you don't want to continue being a lawyer. Was it like just then that it hit you? Like, was it like slowly over time?
It was slowly. It was as I was studying for the LSAT. It was when people would ask me, Lydia, what are you going to do? I got to go to the library and like it was all of that. And I think even going back to being like the youngest sibling, my sister is a full-time medical doctor. She's a physician. So like I watch her bear the pressure of like, and she also wanted to do it. So it's like when your parents' passions are, when your parents' like goal aligns with what your passions are, like that was very easy for them. And basically she kind of took the pressure off me, because I'm like, okay, they got that check. They got a doctor. They got a doctor daughter. Now I can kind of figure myself out. So I would say being the younger sibling definitely was helpful.
At first, did you pick being a lawyer strictly off of that? Of like, or did your skills and desires align with like justice and stuff like that?
No, it was more so of like, you know, you would always hear under the breath, they're like, oh, you would be a really good lawyer. Because, you know, I'd just be talking and yapping and, you know, I'm comfortable in front of people. So they associate that with, I guess, being a good lawyer, where no, this just wasn't what I was into. And again, as growing up, you know, our parents have a very pointed idea of different fields that you can go into. It's like doctor, lawyer, engineer, pharmacist, whatever, anything like that. And once I navigated elsewhere, they had to.
I think we're having a pattern of a lot of people going the last because we also had. It's a very similar story. Of she was going the route of being a lawyer. And then she felt like God was calling her for something else. Maybe if I want to know what I want to do in my life, I just try being a lawyer. And then God will correct me.
No, seriously.
I'm not going to go too much into the LSAT, but I know people that have taken the LSAT and recognize I don't want to do this. And then they find out what they want. The founder of Reddit, LSAT. Even recently there's a historical restaurant that we went to in DC, Ben's Chili Bowl. And the son, I think it's very similar story to yours. He was actually a lawyer. He went and practiced for 2 years because of the parents' pressure that he imposed on himself. And then he was like, nah, I love the family business. And then did that. But yeah, so let's talk about, you already talked about masters and stuff. So let's talk about your family. What was the story of, you know, how they came? Were you born here, first of all?
I was born here, born and raised in Maryland.
So tell us a little bit about that, the family history, how, you know, your parents decided to, you know, invest in one of the first Ethiopian restaurants in the area. In the country, maybe?
No, definitely not in the
I
country.
I don't know. In the area, maybe? And yeah, just tell us about that. And what was your experience growing up?
Family business.
Under that, yeah.
That's a very
family matters, family business.
Like lifestyle to live. So what was that like?
I would say, so my mom and my dad opened it up back in 1997, Dukem Ethiopian restaurant. It started off as like a market, like a carry out and market. My mom and my dad were in the kitchen, chefing stuff up for people. And then eventually the team grew and they were able to, you know, get chefs and cooks and all that jazz, and all the things that it takes to keep it going. And then it evolved into like the sit down restaurant that people know. So that's the origin at a very high level. My mom and dad, you know, they've literally devoted majority of their life, if not the most of their life, raising us, but then also building this, you know, business. And it's funny because it's kind of perfect. Like my dad was always like the biggest foodie. He loved food, not foodie in the sense where he was like, you know, gluttonous, but he just appreciated like taste and flavors. And I would say like my sister and him definitely relate on that for sure, because I'm not the biggest foodie. I love food, but like I don't like, anyways. So having a restaurant particularly, I feel like definitely checked a lot of boxes in terms of like his purpose and what he loved to do and how he approached just like community and culture and cuisine and marrying it all together. And like seeing my mom and my dad like go into work every day. Like right now, I feel like I've just become my mom. My mom would work full time. She worked at NIH, Federal Credit Union, for a majority of her life. And then after work, she would come home, pick me up or pick me up from school after an after school activity, take a little 30-minute nap, and then go to the restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
So she did that for like decades. And then now I'm doing it where I work and then I go to the thing. So, you know, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
This is actually really interesting, because usually when I see like people having a family business, it's like usually like on like reality shows or something, like actually experiencing that. What was, I guess, I don't know if your parents ever told you about it, but like the landscape of, I guess, the area at that time, 1997, right?
Yeah.
I imagine like starting an Ethiopian restaurant. Was there like a desire for it in the community where like people at first like, what is this place? Let's go try it out. Or has it always been like an interest?
Yeah, I would say back when they first opened it up, U Street in particular, like that corridor, and I could be wrong, but it wasn't like a hot spot for Ethiopian food or culture. There were other areas and communities around DC. So it was like definitely not a risk, but it was different. It wasn't like where people were normally opening up Ethiopian restaurants. So there was that element of it. And then just in terms of them like wanting to have the business and open it up, I think at the end of the day, like my dad was hungry, no pun intended. Like he had the truest entrepreneurial spirit and mindset where he was a hustler in the most honest, humble way. So he, regardless of like there not being that many at the time and it being like one of the first on in that area, he was gonna find a way to make it work.
Just forward vision at that, like, 'cause now it's a hotbed, right?
Yeah.
And just general speaking, like this kind of ties into like you growing up while being in the family business. What was like your experience of like either middle school, high school? Did you ever go with your friends to the restaurant? Did your friends come and try it? Was it like, were you popular because of it kind of?
Oh, no.
Like, well, how was that dynamic?
I would say as a kid, I spent a lot of weekends there. You know, I had mentioned my cousin, we're like 4 months apart. Me and my cousin would always spend weekends there in the office, and we'd just be on the computer and we'd be like watching YouTube videos or just doing silly things. We would like try to be these like we thought we were so cool behind like the carryout market, like behind the register, helping press the buttons to open up the register if they had like an order come in. But yeah, those were like some of the bigger core memories. I would say, you know, I would celebrate like graduation parties over there. Being that it was in DC, I found, and I lived in like the, let's just say Kensington area at the time.
The outskirts of DC, like the suburbs of DC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, growing up, I didn't have like too many birthday parties or things like that at the restaurant. It would be more so like a spot where like me and my cousins could hang out if we were all in town or if it was like a holiday or something like that. And then, you know, as I got older, I think it was just like the coolest thing. I always say like my mom and my dad didn't make the restaurant like my personality. It wasn't, they really allowed me to like do my own thing outside of just like the restaurant was really like their passion and their thing and what they do day to day. And for me, I got to explore and do the fun things with my friends that I got to do day to day growing up. And my mom was really adamant about like giving me that separation and that like space and freedom to want to do stuff outside of the restaurant, which I thank her for it, because now that I'm there, it's because I really want to be, not because I feel like forced or I had pressure like to be a lawyer, because clearly that pressure didn't work. So it's much better when it can be your own choice.
Absolutely. I was gonna can we stay on that topic a little bit. So would you say did you ever think you were gonna get involved when you grew up in the business? Because as you spoke, your parents did allow you to have your own agency, your own choice in what you wanted to do. Yes, they wanted you to be successful in whatever you want to do and kind of want you to be a lawyer and stuff. But a lot of people, sometimes there's something that's such like family business pressure.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about like if you ever thought of that when you were younger?
I don't know why. It wasn't something I actively thought about.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it was probably just like a denial thing where it's like, oh yeah, the restaurant's just gonna be there forever. It's just like, you think like your parents are gonna live forever as a kid. Like you don't think of these things beyond like what you're currently focused on. So growing up, I never was like, oh my God, I'm gonna take over the family business. Like that wasn't at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
But I was always very aware of it, that it existed and that it was there, and I knew how much my mom and my dad put into it.
Mm-hmm.
I just never allowed myself to kind of like step in those roles. Also because admittedly, like they were doing the dang thing. Like it wasn't even like a thing where it was like, okay, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Like I don't need to do anything. They got this, right? So yeah.
And I think, just chronologically speaking, it was in COVID when the initial, I guess, the key flea moment happened, and then everything blew, I would say. Was it in COVID?
It was last year.
Yeah, it was more recent. Yeah, it was last year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So COVID was like 5 years for Bobby, so Bobby's still recovering from COVID.
So I know, like, it's kind of like everyone asks you about it, but just generally for people who haven't seen, heard it happen, kind of run us through that moment. How did you feel, and like, just give us some backstory on that.
So backstory wise, it was, peak pandemic 2020, even like just imagine we're in 2020, maybe a year or two before that, right? That's where my mom and my dad were having lots of conversations about just like longevity, like how much longer do we want to have this restaurant? What does it look like? What does that look like for us? Because we're also getting older, and, admittedly, my dad and my mom probably don't want to be cooking up tips or doing that process when they're in their 80s, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, as life progressed and, they were settling into a different season in their life, there was that conversation. And also just like the state of like the restaurant industry at the time, it was just like starting to flip and change. And then the pandemic happened. And then, by the grace of God, like we were still able to survive during the pandemic when a lot of businesses unfortunately did not. So there was that whole context, right? Of just like transition, changes, all of that. And then my dad, he had passed away in 2022. So that was another big like shift in terms of just like a big hole that was now, formed with him not being there anymore. And like my mom, obviously him and her were true partners in it. So really at the end of the day, like owning a restaurant is not meant for one person. At all. Like even two people, they really committed their whole life to it and continue to do so, my mom. But it's not the kind of thing that you can comfortably just do with one person. And that's where, my sister and I have decided like, A, we want to be there to support our mom. B, we want to continue the legacy of our dad. And, as we were getting more and more involved with it, after his passing, being in it, understanding the logistics of having a family business, not just like having a family business, but like running and operating and doing all the logistics there. Very eye-opening.
Really?
Very, very eye-opening. And, it was August 2024 last year. And, just being in it for, at this point, it had been like 2 years. And, at the end of the day, like expenses and all this stuff weren't changing, but then like foot traffic and customer people coming in the door was not coming in. So if that's happening, right, like you're just only destined to like struggle. And we were really in a season of struggle and really trying to figure out like, okay, yeah, my mom and my dad were having conversations about how much longer they want to keep this going. But now we are having those conversations even more often. So that's where I was just like, okay, I'm always on my phone. Let me just put out a video to tell my friends to come by to the restaurant, explain like the importance of it behind me for those people that I may have met and don't really know that I have, you know, this family business. And it kind of took on a life of its own. Really got to reach a bunch of people, and Keith Lee was one of them, and him and his family had come by shortly after that and visited, and he made a video about it. And then we're here a year later, and I'm thankfully still able to talk about the restaurant. And if you were to ask me last year, hey Lydia, will you guys still have Ducom in September 2025? I really would have probably said, I don't know. I don't think so.
Wow.
What did that moment, like, because it's really interesting. Like, it's literally like God had to write that story, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like any like stroke of luck. Like, obviously, you guys were doing like amazing job. But like, what did that moment mean to you? Like, when that happened? Because I always wanted to ask, like, how did that feel?
I felt like it was a slice of encouragement from my dad. You know, like it was more so of a way of him being like, okay, guys, I'm not here, but I'm here. You guys got this. Just keep going, kind of thing. Even though he was probably also, but he probably also didn't have the answers. But from my point of view, is like it was a bit of a nudge, like comfort tap from him.
Because usually I'm like, the problem wasn't anything you guys were offering, right? It's just like people just didn't like. Was it like the amount of people didn't know about you guys yet?
Yeah, I think it's also the type of thing where, you know, kind of like anything, if it's been around long enough, you don't really consider it ever not being a thing, right? So if people know about McDonald's, right? This is not a good example. Right. You can never imagine McDonald's shutting down one day. Not to say that we're McDonald's or we're like as big as them, but it's more so of this idea that it becomes such a staple and a landmark that I think people were just like, yeah, Ducom on the corner of 12th and U, right? When in fact it was not them saying, oh, let's go grab Ducom on the corner of 12th and U. It was more like people knew about it, but they weren't coming in and like eating and grabbing that. So
one thing I really want to highlight, this is something that I'm having to learn now, is the willingness and ability to tell our stories, right? Something I think is not heavily emphasized in our culture, unfortunately, because it's always seen as a burden or it's always seen as someone that's just seeking attention, when in reality, sharing our stories can just be helping others. Like you just simply pulled out your phone that we all have, right? To tell a story that has been around since 1997, to just simply tell what's going on. Yeah. Right. And because of that alone, right, that we're here today. Yeah. I don't know, like you, outside of that, you're an amazing person, but even by your willingness to do that and use what your family has built over the last 2.5 decades to say, hey, you know, this is what's going on. It has reached literally across the nation, right? And so I really want to commend you for that. It definitely just genuinely like was like, wow, like we are given, God has given us the ability to reach across the nations. Yeah. And all it requires is our willingness to first, I know, because not everything that we start off first is easy, right? Just like everything else, it takes time, you know, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, the easier it feels. Yeah. Right. And so I want to give you big ups for that. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for just kind of giving us permission to also do the same for many people. I will say for me too. One thing I want to say though is, how did you like background and, you know, doing marketing for your 9 to 5, and when you decided to come into helping your mother, can you tell us a little bit about that crossover? Oh man, or was there not enough for you, or did it feel like all new? I don't know. That's what I want to know.
It felt all new because all of the marketing and promotion I did was all based around content, TV shows, that type of stuff, film and TV. That was what I do day to day, and that is what I continue to do day to day. So when it came to the world of the restaurant, admittedly, right, like I was still figuring it out. And the only option that I really knew to do is just keep it authentic and keep it personable in terms of like, what would I want to see? What do I do when I am eating food? What do I want to showcase? And kind of expand that out to people in case they're trying to wonder and discover and figure out like, okay, well, I know Ethiopian food exists, but what does it look like at Ducom? What can you order at Ducom? So those are the kind of things that I was thinking about as I was slowly, you know, creating content for our pages and continue to do so even now. And it's like that fine line of like bringing myself into it, but then also wanting to,
keep it authentic.
Exactly. Keep it authentic and like share and have the restaurant.
I think what's even interesting too is before even Iman asked this question, I might be deeping it, but I was just thinking about your story.
Yeah.
And it's like, we kind of have like this notion that we speak about. It's like from like a biblical principle of like being faithful in the little before the big comes, right? So one with your story, it's like you guys were already doing what you guys had to do in terms of the business. So whenever that moment came, it's not like sometimes when opportunity meets preparation, that's when you'll see the success, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you guys had that opportunity, you guys weren't, for whatever reason, not doing the maximum of what you guys could do, you might not have been able to steward that moment. But it's also funny how even just like how what you do in other seasons of your life comes back.
Oh yeah.
And like you were doing pre-law, and then for your masters, you're doing digital marketing, and then it's that marketing and social media or content muscle in your body that came back and helped you, through the grace of God, like bring your family business, which your father put his heart and soul into, back from like going out of business. And it's just so crazy to me.
Absolutely. And I also want to say, talking about things we did in the past, because I found this out when we were doing research. You were also, before Dukem, you also did your own content. So I wanted to bring that up, if that's okay, because I know, because we have our manager friend, dictator. No, but can you tell us about, because I'm pretty sure when you were creating content that you enjoy, you were not thinking about, oh, you know what, in the future I'm going to use this, to help my family out. Like, tell us about that journey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so it's funny how it started, right? So I always loved creating videos and like recording stuff. Like in high school, if we needed to create a promo video, I'm your girl. If we needed to film something for Spirit Week, I got you. If it was in college, we needed to like put an announcement out for who our spring concert artist is going to be, I'll do it. Like I just loved editing and creating content as a whole. So then once I got into my master's program, we have to do like a final project, right? And essentially it's like a capstone project. Yes. And at the time, I have curly hair, and I realized like I would always struggle trying to figure out what products work for me, what don't. I got into a groove. People would ask me about my hair. I was watching a bunch of curly hair content. I was like, let me just make my own videos. YOLO, like why not? Like this is so fun for me. I love trying products. I love editing and creating content. Let me build a community around this, and do that and make it my capstone project. So I turned because we got to pick what we wanted. I made my final project for my master's program my YouTube channel. Smart. So I got to literally do what I want as homework. Like it was like, again, we're, purpose and passion kind of blend together. So then from there, it was like, okay, this is technically my homework, but then I also would just be doing this naturally. So it was like, really, I was kind of cheating the system school-wise. So that's really where it like fully took off in terms of like I would create videos here and there, but then when I really got intentional about it, I was putting up like 3 videos a week at one point, every single week, really trying to like do what I can to build community and grow that audience in a way that felt like meaningful, because I wanted people to walk away with actual like meaningful advice and like good advice as it pertained to like curly hair tips or stuff that I would want to hear, or hair products are not cheap. I don't know if you guys know that.
We found out.
So,
we have heard.
So being able to like see someone else try a product, and especially if they have like a similar texture, or being able to be like, okay, that worked for them, maybe it'll work for me. Granted, there's a lot of other factors involved, but that was something else that was like, okay, this is a good lane for me. And then I was able to use that project as a portfolio for when I applied to my 9-to-5. And I joke and I say, I think I pretty much got hired because I was able to have my YouTube channel. Like because I had my YouTube channel, I got my job, because you have a proven concept, a proven portfolio. I was able to show that I was able to grow an audience, do all that stuff that like, marketing jobs like to see, because I applied in a social role specifically. So it all, again, to your point, it all just like piggybacked and connected to one another.
Isn't
and
it
like
crazy when you look back at retrospective, like how your life is like just being sculpted and moving into the place where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And like in terms of like, because I always get psyched out, right? Me, Eman, Dagi. Even with this podcast, it always strikes me how powerful social media is.
Oh, yeah.
Like the tool of it.
Yeah.
How videos you make, content you make can get into rooms you will never walk into.
Totally.
Right? In front of people you probably will never see. Yeah. But because of you either being relatable or just being authentic, being yourself, not even thinking too much about it, you just being, for example, for your capstone or for your family business or even just for your own passions.
Yeah.
People can relate to that and like see the need for it and they feel welcomed around you. So what was that like in terms of like seeing the power of social media and like how it can impact your life? Even the pressures around it. Maybe you don't want to be in front of the camera now or stuff like that.
I would say the impact still amazes me to this day. I think to your exact point that like you don't know there's so many rooms that you'll be in and so many faces that'll see you that you don't even realize when it comes to the world of social media, just because the reach is really just insane. And it's also unpredictable. So it can feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall in terms of like, okay, I'm going to put this piece of content up. And if people see it, great. If not, okay, next one, on to the next, right? Like there's that aspect of it. It still baffles me when I think back to this time last year, how wide it got to and how that even trickles down into today, because there was people who were like, oh my God, I used to watch her YouTube videos back in the day when I posted. I didn't like to even make those connections there. It's just so, it's kind of wild to me, but it's also so cool.
I think in general, right? This is an exciting part of the video. I get like, this is passionate for me because like in our episodes, what we love to do is like sometime through the episode, we love to make it practical for people watching us. Yeah. In terms of like the stats of our numbers, a lot of people watching us are younger than us, mostly. Younger than us, young adults. People just trying to figure out life. This thing called life. This is their first time living.
Totally.
I think an amazing thing from your story, you spoke about it before we even started, is a different way to go about things.
Totally.
So I guess advice for people watching, young, old, however it is, there's people like in their 40s, 50s, whatever age it is, they're starting over again, pivoting, trying to figure out things. Your life, it shows a testament that there's different ways to go about it, not the general way all our parents have to say, or like just the tried and proven path. Yeah. Sometimes for some of us, we might be called to do a different thing, pave a different path, and not to be afraid. But what would you say to people like that, and advice for them you would say?
I would say try to respect and understand that other people's opinions and concerns are sheerly just that, right? Like, and a lot of the times it's coming from a place of their own fear and their own unknown, like, because you only know what you know, right? And my role was not something that my family grew up with. Yes. As they, when they were growing up, like they didn't understand this idea of marketing brand strategy. Like, what is that? Yeah. And so because they don't know what that is, they don't know what that could lead to. It's like, oh, I just want the best for my child. Yeah. Let me please do something that I know so that way it's predictable for me and I can have the peace, right? But at the end of the day, as long as they trust in you and you trust in yourself, that's really what will get you through it. And again, like people's opinions and whatnot are really just that. I would say people don't, I mean, like for the video that I put out, right? There was a lot of, concern about like, or a lot of appreciation too, that I was like bold enough to even share that our restaurant was not doing well at the time, which is very taboo in our culture. We're very, coined to want to put on a brave face and be strong and just be like, yeah, everything's fine. But like sometimes things are not okay. And if that's the reality, right? That someone's opinion on me sharing that is not going to change my reality. Absolutely. So someone's opinion or idea about what path you want to take in life is not going to or should not change how you approach and what brings you happiness at the end of the day. Because you're only hurting yourself, right? Like a lot of it is just like outside noise. And I know we want to respect and like, you know, hear and do all the things that like our family and whatnot want us to do. But if you really trust in yourself and honestly just kind of accept that you're still figuring it out and low-key they are too, then that's all you really can do. 100%.
100%. I don't have much more to add. I would just say 100% genuinely. I want to ask you this. How has your day-to-day been? Because I can imagine, I'm a social butterfly too, right? Mm-hmm. But everyone, you know what I'm saying, especially dealing with people 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then going, and I know it's part of the job and I know you're a genuine person, but you know, you also have to genuinely, you know, show people welcoming faces, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with like the burnout, you know? And because it is also normal. By the way, before that though, I just want to say you're 100% right about what you said. Like people's opinion doesn't change your reality. And if you always have to appease other people, it's only hurting us.
Correct.
And the burnout would be a lot faster than it would be, right? But with that, I wanted to, how are you dealing with that? Like, how do you handle that?
I don't. I just.
Or tell us about how that is. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
No, sometimes it can be really tough. Like I set an unreasonably high ladder and bar for myself, and I'm short, so like sometimes it's just like I just set the bar higher and higher for myself, and it feels like I can never let myself enjoy a win or enjoy like small little victories in that sense. So that's where I find burnout really coming into play, where I don't allow myself to be like appreciative and grateful for what's going on, and I'm just thinking of like, what's next? Okay, what can I do? Why am I not doing this enough? Why am I not doing this more? So the more I can try to show and like feel gratitude, that's where I can avoid burnout. But in terms of just like my day-to-day, I think I'm just in a season of my life where this is just my day-to-day, and it is what it is. And like at the end of the day, I am really lucky that my 9 to 5 is remote. Like I can be at home and then I get the like work office vibe when I go to the restaurant or our lounge. So it kind of like I get to, you know, I'm not always around people. I'm not always in a car. I'm not always doing this. And it's also just like, it hits different when I'm at the lounge or I'm at the restaurant because I'm with family. Like the purpose is just so much deeper. Again, I love what I do 9 to 5, but like to be able to do it with family, like the why is just so much greater. I mean, it doesn't get any greater than family, but yeah.
That's actually amazing.
I think it's interesting. Just once again, like your life it's your life. You've lived it, but like as a testament to other people, it's actually interesting how much people you can impact. I would say in terms of, and feel free to answer however you feel, but like in terms of honoring your father's legacy, how has that been in the grand scheme of things since his passing and everything? How has that been, that burden? I know it's a heavy thing to continue, but what did he mean to you? How did he mold you, and the things he's taught you lived on, you know, and his words being reminded to you? How has that been, that experience?
I would say it's been super interesting because even though he's not physically here right now, I still feel like I get to learn more about him, even though he's not here. Just because I'm literally in the office at our restaurant that he was in every single day. And like I get to have conversations like he had back in the day. So like it's like I get to kind of be in his shoes, but not fill them, if that makes sense. So, and that's really what it is like I just want to just like put my toe in the shoe and like kind of just like slide around the room and like at least like dance around, kind of like little girls when they wear their like mom's heels. Like that's really what it feels like sometimes. But I still feel so connected to him in that sense. And like it does, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So like now that people really do or are more aware of, you know, my reason and my why behind wanting to keep my dad's legacy going, my mom and my dad's legacy going, it's like, okay, well, girl, do it now. And if you don't, dang, you failed. Like, it's just like, sometimes like that's the negative self-talk that I have in myself where it's like, okay, well now you just have to do it. And if you don't, then like, you suck. I'm kidding. No, but but
sometimes you think like that.
Sometimes you think like that. Yeah.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
And in terms of like your tribe, how the influence and the support of your mother seeing you now, and your sister being on side of you, how has that been a dynamic of like seeing Lydia go from you're the youngest, but you were in law to getting into content creation, marketing. Now you're full-fledged leading the business, working alongside your mother and your sister. But like, how has that development been on them? Like seeing you like, wow.
I feel like my mom is like super proud because back to my point before, she was always very cautious about wanting us to be in the space because this isn't like an easy industry to be in and like thing to deal with day to day. So now that she can like see me there every day with her, it like makes her super proud and she's happy because she knows like I'm doing it because I want to be there. So there's that. And even like with me and my sister, it's really interesting to see where our strengths kind of blend and come together, right? So we're also getting to like cheer each other on as we operate and do things because we all three of us really have our own strengths and weaknesses and we're able to like fill in and keep up and do things, you know, as it makes sense for us.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was gonna I think we kind of touch about like your upbringing, your upbringing, past, present. But in terms of where do you see Lydia in, let's say, 5 years? What is the end goal or like, what vision do you have for your life?
Yeah, where are you heading?
Yeah.
Where am I heading?
What does that life look like to you in the distant future?
Admittedly, I'm terrible with those type of questions because I tend to, I'm not going to be able to answer that question only because I have no idea and I'm still figuring it out.
That's a valid answer.
And because it's something that I'm personally working through and I'd be curious if you guys have a similar approach. If I told you guys, like I set a high bar for myself. If I try to think too far down and I don't reach it, I don't give myself enough grace, right? So I tend to, I will prepare myself to fail rather than actually prepare myself to succeed. So, and I'm trying to work through that. So basically what I'm trying to say is if I tell you what I want to be 10 years from now, and then as soon as I tell you, and then I'm like, crap, so now I have to do it. And if I don't do it, I'm going to be so disappointed if I don't get it. So like, that's why I struggle.
Absolutely. This is something I can tell you or anyone listening that I had to learn recently.
Yeah.
Is even if we reach those goals, what if that's not what we really wanted? We thought we wanted them, right? I think we want something but we never realized or we never really questioned why we wanted them to begin with. Especially, I think, Bobby, we were like at an age where the dreams and goals we had when we were teenagers or even younger, right? We might have reached them. But a dream that a 7-year-old has is not really viable for a 20-year-old, you know what I'm saying? But we were still stuck with that. Right. And a lot of times that might have been kind of put on us by society, by our parents, and we were like, I guess we want this. We never really questioned like why we even want them. Right. And so it's totally fine. And the thing is, this is so funny because I'm the type of person, literally until like last year, I'm like, how are you 20, 19? You don't know what you want, right? Because I'm like, I thought I had it figured out, but I recognize, no, people just told me what I should want. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should want that. And I'm like, oh, wow. And then, you know, some things I accomplished, something, you know, I failed in. But even the thing that I accomplished thinking this would be the end all be all, I recognize, okay, I got this, but I still don't want this.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so now my whole world is breaking apart thinking, okay, maybe the whole thing that I thought I knew was wrong. Maybe we should actually give people the opportunity to question for themselves, what do I really want out of this world? You know, so the absolutely valid answer to say, I don't know. And I'm going to figure it out.
I can tell you what I don't know necessarily where I see things going or what I want to do or where I want to like be, but I can tell you what I want to feel.
I was going to say that, yeah, in terms of the question.
I hope that I feel a sense of like peace, confidence, reassured, and like I continue to feel like encouraged as I go along the way. So that's really, and also just like excited and happy and bubbly and all of the good things. Like I want to like bottle up all the good and just like splash it up for the future.
You brought up an interesting point too, because it's the whole notion, because sometimes we lie to ourselves, right?
Right.
For example, for me, I might appear or tell myself that I'm really an ambitious person, but I'm masking it. I'm masking or projecting that I'm ambitious, but deep down, it's like I want to achieve these things to prove to myself that I matter, right? And it's like once you, like Iman said, you accomplish whatever you're striving for, it's like, I still don't feel like I'm that person I want to be. And then you realize it's a deeper than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And back to the last question is like, I stopped kind of like saying like, I want to do this by this year, or like in the 10 years I want to do this. Like more importantly, I think I'd rather focus on the impact rather than the actual event. Because your life can go anywhere, right?
So true.
People want to be like, I want to have $1 million, but the journey to get there can go up, down, bankruptcy and everything. But in terms of the impact of like, I want people to be inspired by my life, then it opens it up to like how that happens. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But
like
that's what I want. And then it ends up through the grace of God guiding you. Like in your life, you didn't have that, I'm going to put out a video. It's going to be very popular. My family business will be, saved. And I'm also going to be learning all these skills and tricks for that. You never knew that. You just knew that you want to be faithful to your family business. You want to be true to who you are. But then the journey, God wrote the story himself, and it you just can't kind of project it or guess it.
Totally. And I'm gonna plagiarize, and I want to take that answer. What you just said, I want that for my future.
Absolutely. Lydia, I don't know, Bobby, if you have anything last thing to say. I just want to say thank you so much for the work that you've been doing, just even living your life authentically, for sharing your story, for continuing the legacy of your parents. It is definitely empowering and influencing people that, like I say, we might not even come across like this is a blessing to have the chance to tell you in person, but there's many people that are impacted by the work that you're doing, just honoring your family while also living a life that you want. If you have anything you want to say to our audience, anything that's in your mind, final thoughts, I have no doubt that we will definitely be connecting in the future. Hopefully, we can make something work, but I just want to give you this opportunity for you to just share with our audience.
Okay.
Make it more intimate.
Oh, man. So I will say, number one, these guys are the real deal. Like, this whole team is the real deal. You guys really, truly know how to make someone feel safe, feel comfortable, feel open. And just know, again, they're the real deal. I would say, in terms of what else I want to share with folks, come to Ducom Ethiopian restaurant on the corner of 12th and U. Come to Apple Lounge right upstairs above Ducom. So if you ever want to have your tips or your veggie platter in a more like loungy, sexy environment, Apple Lounge is right upstairs. It's also just like a nightlife space. My family, we own it. We recently revamped it. And yeah, just continue to just show up and tell your friends to tell a friend. And y'all better come too. I'm looking at you guys now. Now that's going to be the part 2. Y'all are going to have to come.
Our producer said she's actually going to chip in for all of us to have him.
Okay, I will pay for it. So what are we talking about? Like, just come. Just come.
No. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lydia. I really, really appreciate you. God bless you. Yeah.
In the words of Doggy, send this to your grandma.
Send this to your grandma.
Or your dog. I'm kidding.
OTD or your dog.
OTD,
we're out.
Bow.
Bye.